Our next session comprises experts and organizations that are cultivating green minds among investors. Our panel will discuss the relevance of green building technologies and of green certifications in this decade and beyond. So let's welcome our moderator, Ms. Heidi Chung, media analyst and correspondent from Variety, and our leader panel speakers, Dr. Kesra Tanyala Park, Managing Director, Sena Development Public Company Limited, Kristen Tornstein, Regional Head of Partnership Growth, APAC West IWG, Rachani Chanawat, Asia Pacific Principal, International Financial Corporation, World Bank Group. We have also Stephen Ohm, Managing Director, Quantum Thailand Limited, Chairperson, PropertyGuru, Asia Real Estate Summit, and lastly, Thien Dog, General Director, Vietnam Group, GSA, and the Grand Final Jury Chairperson of the PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards.
Thank you everyone for being here. I know it's the afternoon, so everyone's tired. Hope everyone had their afternoon coffee because this is about to be a really, really interesting panel. So before we get into all the fun stuff, let's go around the horn here. If everyone could just tell us who you are and what you do. Rachani?
Yeah. Okay. Shall I start?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. My name is Kesla.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And I work at the Sena Development. So we are developer. We are residential developer. And we are the first developer in Thailand who have developed all the residential with the solar on top, you know. And we are very proud for that initiative. So we have been doing that until now. So we are proud to say that I think we are the developer who has the solar on the residential that probably 1,000 units already now in Bangkok. Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kristin Thorstens. So I head up growth for IWG PLC, who is the mother company of Regus, who is the inventor of flexible offices and co-working spaces. Been around for 30 years. Not me, that is to say. I'm only 29.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Rachani Chanawat. I work for International Finance Corporation, or IFC, which is the unit under World Bank Group that support private sector development. And we have been working extensively to help green building and green cities today. We just launched at COP27, the Green City Program. And very delighted to be here to share what we can contribute. Thank you.
Stephen?
Good afternoon. My name's Stephen Ohm. I'm an independent value management and sustainability consultant.
Hi, I'm Thien Duong. I actually live in Vietnam. I'm one of the judges on our grand final panel. I'm also an architect with a group called GSA, you know, a 50-year-old firm of architects in Australia and in Vietnam. In Vietnam, I'm also a member of the Vietnam Green Building Council. I've been on the board for 10 years, so I'm happy to be here.
We're happy you're here too. So our panelists obviously are leaders in this industry. I feel like we need to start big picture here, talk more broadly about sustainability and specifically green certifications. So if everyone can sort of chime in here and give us your opinion and thought on green certifications, how important is it from an investment standpoint as well as from a consumer standpoint? Is it, you know, some people out there are like, okay, you slap a green label on it and it suddenly becomes relevant, but how relevant really is it right now? Who wants to kick things off?
Yeah, maybe if I start. So it actually hit me. I was in a private equity real estate conference in May. It was the first sort of real conference that took place in Singapore after COVID. So a lot of people flew in from Europe, and they were all going on about sustainability. And one of the panelists said that by 2030, something like 60 to 80% of commercial office buildings in the UK are going to be uninvestable because the real estate funds won't have the mandate anymore to invest in buildings that are not green certified. So we are not there yet in Asia, but I can see it coming, like a train towards us. I read a recent report that said that green certified buildings are achieving a premium or a greenium of 26% when it comes to rent, as opposed to buildings that don't have any certification. And this gap between green buildings and older buildings is just going to get wider. So the numbers are going to speak in the end. So green certification is going to be a necessity.
Perhaps I could come in. Sin IFC also have a green certification called EDGE. And what we see is certification is just a proxy or indicator of the development that undertake sustainability initiatives, right? And to Christian's point, many businesses and also investors started to have the policy to earmark their investment in the green or a project that aim for sustainability or climate objective. For company, they need to decarbonize and reduce their carbon footprint in the facilities that they use to run their operations or business, become a criteria in their selection as well. Consumer-wise, we see that the awareness is increasing, particularly after the COVID-19 pandemic, which we will talk about the impact of this subsequently. But it is beyond certification. It's really represent what actions the business has undertaken to achieve the level of sustainability. Thank you.
If I could just add to that, EDGE, I don't know if you know about EDGE, financed by partly the World Bank, of course. The new kid on the block, and it's killing Vietnam in a big way, where you actually almost, I would even say 80 to 90% of the new projects in Vietnam have gone with EDGE. I'm kind of jealous because I've been trying to promote the Vietnam Green Building Council, which is Lotus, But EDGE came in and just took over the whole market. But I'm so happy because it's actually creating an environment where developers who would not normally go with a sustainability registration, they've done that. Because EDGE have made the whole process so easy. And then all the green consultants have grabbed onto EDGE because it's very easy for them to do their work. Okay, so amazing work you guys are doing. Okay, in terms of bringing sustainability to projects. In terms of Vietnam, it's quite a young market. The developers as a country, it's just starting to happen at the moment. But I want to add another step to the whole sustainability issue, where I think most companies at the moment are going with carbon footprint. They're trying to reduce carbon footprint. But what I'm trying to push, and I think a lot of other sustainability kind of people, is about biophilia. It's a lot of projects which can get the really great carbon footprint. I think the next step is biophilia, meaning, can your project have green on it? Can your projects have plants? You can actually get an amazing platinum LEED project without a single tree on site. Did you know that? So let's have and I'm seeing a lot of this in Bangkok. I'm quite amazed. If you look up a lot of the buildings here, you'll see plants growing on the buildings, plants growing on the roofs, on the balconies. And that's what shows how people love their buildings, right? Love their homes, because you can see plants on their commercial spaces at the same time. And so biophilia, that's what we need to aim at. And I think, to be honest, Asia is actually leading the way, more than Europe, more than North America, or any other continent.
And Stephen, from a property development standpoint, what do you think is really driving this movement, this shift in sentiment towards sustainability, specifically here in APAC?
For property developers, I don't think that their perspective is any different really from any business leader. their focus is on the financial outcome. And you can't blame them for that. That's what they're in the positions to do. That's their primary function and focus. So I think that one of the things that the rating systems and the certifications have done, and I think it's great that, you know, for instance, you talk about the competition between Lotus and Edge. And I think having that agitation and everything else is very progressive and very valuable, and it does transition the business leaders' minds because they can see the value and there's a financial outcome because they can see greater revenue, which is great. But I think it's the financial outcome. You know, will they get greater revenues? Will they get greater profits, etc.? And from that perspective, the developers have to be focused on that, and they are. And unfortunately, one of the things that's happened with sustainability or green building is that it's seen as a new discipline. And because you have the architect and the structural engineer and all the different components, you've added another one, which is the sustainability professional. And unfortunately, what's happening there is because it's an additional discipline, it ends up being an additional cost. And one of the things that the certification programs are doing, and I think it's really important, is that it's starting to change so that it's not another discipline and additional cost, but it can come back to my focus of being a value proposition. And so therefore you can speak directly to the leaders and sort of say, this is valuable for you because we can save money. There was that excellent example of reinforcement from Dr. Bakar in the last panel session. Unfortunately, what he was talking about, 10, 15% in structural savings, on obviously carbon savings and materials use savings, resource savings, it very often doesn't get recognised by the rating tools, or if it is recognised by the rating tools, it's not very well applied by the practitioners. So that sort of holistic strategic outcomes speaks to the business leaders. The business leaders will see the financial outcomes, the value, the revenue, the profit. Perfect.
If I may add to what Stephen just now explained, I think the key message is that the green certification is driving toward resource efficiency, right? So we are talking about the running costs or operating costs that are going to come down and should be the key selling point to the tenants that are going to take up the property, that the utility costs or water consumption costs going to come down with that. And on top of that, yes, the reduction in GHG emission. Thank you.
So Kesara, we just heard from Rachni about efficiency, right? So I'd love to get your thoughts on sort of the intersection between eco-friendly property development and renewable energy. And by that I mean solar power, whether it's residential, industrial. What does that look like?
Well, I come from the sector that I have to say I'm the B2C business, right? So I'm direct to the consumer. Usually I sell home to the consumer. So no one asks for a certificate actually when they want to buy a home, really, and probably because most of the homes that we sell are mid-income, not like really like 100 million US dollar kind of home, right? So in the project that most developers do, the mid-income, most of them what they are thinking is the value that they get. I would say how much they save. That would be what they that would be the best way to explain the intersection between the renewable energy and their home, you know. Because if they have to pay more, but they cannot get what they get from that, you know. Even you say, hey, this is clean, right? This is solar energy, and you know when you produce with this, you're gonna save a lot of trees, and you know it's good for the earth and things like that. I think you know, frankly speaking, I think it's better now. But because we start this since I think 10 years ago, and at that time it was very clear that no one was willing to pay more for something that they didn't earn back. You know, everyone you ask us, hey, how much they save for the electricity? If they don't save anything, no, they don't want to put the solar. They want promotion back. They want how much you can save for us and pay back the money. That's what they want. No matter how well we explain. We do a lot of earth and green. We do a lot of trees, and we try to build all this to them, and we try to tell them, hey, if you do it like this, you're gonna save a lot of trees, and you're gonna save a lot of earth, But even so, they still ask how much they save. But today, I think today it's better. It's better why? Because it saves the money too. Today the equilibrium is changed. Right now, I think it's the equilibrium is not. It doesn't have to be the same in every country, right? Because it depends on how the solar costs. It depends on how the electricity costs in each country. But in Thailand today, it's worth it, to use solar in your panel, in your roof. However, most of the residential, they are not home in the daytime, and it's still not worth it to use the battery in your home. So, but this year the government give us a subsidy, So there's a lot of things that has to come in place before we can say that, hey, this is the equilibrium for the residents to use solar. And now it is. Because today you can have the solar on your roof, and then you can save the electricity, and then when you have it left over, you can sell back to the grid, at the 50% of what the electricity costs, So it's worth it. So that's what we are today. And plus on that, you tell them, hey, you're a good guy. You save earth today, and you save a lot of trees, and everyone should know. We put on the Facebook for you, So that is a plus, right? So that I think that's what we are today. But I truly believe that the real force of the sustainability has to come from the customer. No force will be stronger than this, because we are private sector, right? Everything will be driven from the profit standpoint, from the customer standpoint. So if customer wants it, even though it's not worth it or whatever, but if customer wants it and we have to deliver it, it's gonna happen, So I think what we are today, what we try to achieve today, I think that's very admirable, And if we can achieve that, it's gonna be, we're gonna reach the final one day.
Yeah, absolutely. To that point, Tien, can you talk about this from a design architect perspective, especially in a developing market like Vietnam? Why are these kinds of certifications, thinking about sustainability, so important right now?
Okay, I think we all know why, but I have a question actually. Are there any developers in the room? Any developers? Not too many. See, to me, this is an issue, right? There is a number one reason why, sustainability is not moving as fast as it is. You know why? Kirsten, you represent, a client, let's say, a developer in a way, right? Why is sustainability not going across every single project, every single building, every single development? Why?
Because, like I alluded to, it's not yet in the numbers. It's not yet, the value of integrating it is not yet there. Yeah.
Okay, it comes down to money as the bottom line, right? But there's a huge misconception. People think it costs a lot of money to do green, okay? And I run into this every single time I speak to a client, I'll have to spend 10%, 20% more money, more capital. I'm not gonna make money. I'm gonna sell my condos, and then I have to leave. I'm not gonna make enough money. This is the problem. It actually it costs 2%, to make it green. Okay, then you go up to about 5 to 6, and this is through. I can quote you many, reports and data and all that. But you take my word for it. 5% will get you platinum if you have the right consultant. Okay, but as you guys know, you get the money back very quick, right? So the biggest, what the biggest building type is in terms of certification for sustainability. It's actually industrial, because they use so much energy that they can see the returns within a few months, and that's why they go for it. They go with the solar panels, and they go with. But for me, industrial is about carbon footprint mainly, and it doesn't actually affect the world. And we're here to try to affect the world. I want to see every single building, like in Bangkok, with a lot of trees, like in Singapore, with a lot of trees and plants. And if you walk around and you see these spaces, it's about well-being, right? It's about feeling good, not just about carbon footprint, and it's not just about saving money and all that sort of thing. It's about an environment which is pleasant, and in that there's an essence of you can't really quantify it. It's about and the reason I'm saying this is I recently came back to my home country, Canada, and there's parking lots everywhere. People are all driving parking lots. And then I come back to Asia, and I came to Bangkok, and I look up and I see trees in Singapore, and it's pleasant, And I think this is the most important thing. This is what it comes down to, is the spaces biophilic? Okay. Just one more thing. The next step now, I don't know, from a design standpoint, is not just biophilia now. It's biodiversity. We're at a point now where in Asia, not too much in North America and in Europe, but in Asia, people are now moving. Can I quote a few projects? Like, I went to Forestia in Bangkok. Beautiful project. You should all go there, and you should all buy that product, because it's not just biophilic, it's biodiversity. They've created environments where you can actually go, and the birds are coming back. The birds are coming back to Bangkok. And then the birds are coming, and the dragonflies are coming, and it's actually an environment where now you're living with nature, and it's all about well-being. Okay, I'll leave it there.
Okay, so I feel like everyone on stage is bullish about the future of sustainability within real estate, right? So to put a few of you on the spot, let's get some predictions about what we think is going to happen in the next, say, 5, 10 years from now. Stephen, where do you think we'll be here in Asia in terms of eco-friendly property development?
It's definitely, it's very attractive for people to do. And I totally agree with you. When we're thinking about sustainability, there is this focus in relation to carbon and carbon only in some people's minds. And when we're looking at sustainability, what we've done at RES in 2020 and 2021, and again today in 22, is focus on the 4 pillars of sustainability, really looking at the environmental side, carbon and all of the other aspects environmentally, and then also the human and the social, very much coming into what you're talking about, and the value in that. From a corporation level, from a governmental and regulatory level, from the support from organisations like IFC, really bringing that to the fore, bringing in that, because it is valuable, and that's the word I use and the word that Kirsten used earlier. It is valuable. There is value there, and it's very, very strong value. And I do agree with you that in Asia, the rate of growth, the rate of urbanisation, the rate of new buildings in Asia is going to surpass any other continent in the world. And so therefore the greatest amounts, as you said, the greatest amounts of growth are going to happen in Asia, and that means the greatest impacts and progress for sustainability. I think it's very bullish, as you said.
And Kristen, tell us about the 15-minute city. Is that the future of urban living? Tell us more.
Yeah, so actually we've been talking about the 15-minute city all day. 15-minute city is just one of the ways to describe how we develop livable cities where people can reach, healthcare, shops, education, and work within a 15-minute radius. So one of the most durable legacy left by COVID-19 is the normalization of hybrid work. And there are 2 ways of creating the 15-minute city. It's either you create affordable housing closer to the CBD, which is challenging because, money talks, or you bring work to the suburbs, to the secondary towns, closer to where people live. And that's, beyond, green certification and all that. I think that's going to be a huge element in reducing carbon footprint, in finding a way where people can go to work closer to where they live, without having to work from home, because we all know that's horrible. So that's one of the ways that can contribute to decarbonization, through other means than having to build something. Yeah.
If I may add? Of course. Yes, I build on what you have shared in terms of urbanization in this part of the world, including infrastructure in terms of transport, right? So transport-oriented development is also a direction that many countries in Asia will have to pick up. Work, live, play in the community, right? That you don't waste time commuting. And so when you look at the facilities that you build, it have to be connected to the community, connected to the transport network, and also accommodate the change of behavior of people today, right? They want to be healthy, they want to walk or cycling or something like that. So this kind of the design of infrastructure has to be taken into the equation. Thank you.
I feel like we could talk about this all day, but unfortunately this sign is screaming at me that time is up. I'm so sorry that we had to cut it short. My thanks to the amazing leaders in this panel, and of course to all of you watching. Stay tuned for the next panel.